Next victim here. So I believe this is Kevin here. So we're looking at seat 4. Taking a look at all of the paddling technique and everything again. So like I was telling to seat 3 Rainier, I've been paddling with the club for a really long time. Hopefully, I paddled with Nick and Brada and Honu for a really long time as well. Hopefully what I'm saying here is consistent with what they're teaching you folks. I don't want to give any contradictory information that they're telling you and all that stuff. So that's my disclaimer here. But what the objective here is to just kind of show you what exactly you look like when you're paddling, because everyone's going to look a little bit different, and just want to kind of show you here. So don't mind the lines that I drew for the other guy here. It's just we'll focus on you in seat 4 here. So first thing that I want to just point out was a little bit of the timing. Had a little bit of timing issues here. So just kind of taking a look. A little bit early, so even on this side, a little bit early, or a little bit of a timing thing here. But so what I want to show, okay, so frame by frame. So right here is where you're hitting the water, and right there is where he hits the water. Okay, so again, want to make sure that we're hitting the water at the same time. But ultimately, what is more important than hitting the water at the same time is that you're pulling the same water as he is. So right about here, you guys are both fully submerged, which is good. So as long as you're fully submerged at the same exact time, obviously it looks nicer if everyone is paddling and hitting the water at the exact same time. Ultimately, when you're fully submerged and when you actually pull the water, that's most important. So making sure that you're all pulling the same water at the same exact time is more important than everything else. So you guys are pulling the water at the same time. Looks pretty good. Coming through frame by frame. And then what happens here is you're coming out a little bit early. Okay, so you're coming out here. He's still in the water. So I don't know if maybe he was a little late, but just make sure that, see how you're out of the water, he's still in. Okay, so that would be one thing to point out. So just making sure that you guys have the exact same timing in and out of the water. So here's where we do kind of our lines, little assessment here. So again, a little bit early. So here's your first line, and then second line when you're fully submerged is about here. So camera angle is a little bit on the front side, so it's gonna show that you have what we refer to this as a negative angle. What we want to try to do is get your paddle buried as soon as possible. So what you have to do is get this bottom arm more on this positive angle. So positive angle is this way, negative angle is back this way. So we want to try to get this, get the paddle buried as soon as possible. See how his is buried up here and it's in the front, and see you're all the way back here already. Yeah. So taking a look at the angles, making sure that we have the exact same timing as each other, and then pulling through. So I do want to show on this side here. This was the first stroke. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to show here. First one, boom, drive down. Okay, so you got this kind of this little triangle action going on here. Show again comparison to a couple other ones that we've got here. Again, this is my video. It's not necessarily saying that I have the best technique in the world, but just to kind of give you a perspective of what this top arm trajectory should look like. So you see how it's very symmetrical. You got a strong drive down on the top arm, and then it comes straight back up to the top, back to the initial starting position. Okay. So taking a look at yours, let's go back a little. So that first stroke, a couple of things here, but we'll focus on just the drive itself. So you're hitting here, and then it starts to pull back here. What you want to do is try to smooth that out, so it's not, you don't have like a forward and then a backward motion. Just kind of want to have like a nice smooth, just kind of like this here. It's a little bit smoother. So that way there's less jerking. Because what happens is you got like one stroke here, and then one stroke back here. You want it to just be all fluid. So just like that. Very, very fluid. Again, not saying that my technique is the correct way to do it, but again, just some perspective for you. So one thing I do want to point out that it's not just you guys. The open men have this issue as well. See how there's two different paths here, right? So you got this first stroke. That's your first stroke path. That first little triangle here, okay? And then your second stroke is down further, right? So what this means is that your first stroke, you're kind of restricting yourself. So your first stroke should be just like every other stroke out there, right? So your first stroke should have the same length and that same like triangle as your second stroke. So what's happening is it's like weightlifting. So it's we talk to our guys about like weightlifting. If you wanted to bench 100 pounds, it's easy. You could rep that out super easy. Your technique would be super solid, and everything would look good. Okay, so try 300 pounds. All right, so or 200, however much you can bench. I mean, whatever your max is, or above your max. What happens is, this first stroke is like benching 300 pounds because the canoe is not moving. You're trying to move a 1,000-pound canoe with 6 guys, 400-pound canoe plus 6 guys. It's about 1,000 pounds. You're trying to move it from going from 0 to 60 from the dead stop. And so what happens is a lot of guys, what they do is they cut their first stroke short, but really they should be paddling. This first stroke should be going all the way down to here. Okay, your first stroke needs to come down from here all the way, boom, boom, boom. Okay, but what's happening is you're cutting yourself short there. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. But see how that second stroke driving down, so you got a way stronger drive. Okay, so that means, yeah, so just take a look at that. So that first stroke, you want to try to make it the same exact stroke as everything else. Good technique always prevails over strength. So going through, timing again a little bit. Overall, let's look back at this side here. Left side. Don't worry about his lines. So we're just going to go through. Okay, so we'll go through here. So again, we're looking at, so unfortunately I can't do the same angles as I did with him with his twist. So I like this one here. So that twist, right? So he's got a good twist there. So what you got your top shoulder, your bottom shoulder. Your bottom shoulder is your left shoulder. Your top shoulder is your right shoulder on the left side of the canoe. And so this is what it looks like, right? So you're coming through, and then twist finishes here, okay? Oops. So here, and then straight down, okay? So that means you are twisting. So you got a good twist. See how this bottom shoulder is forward, the left shoulder is forward, your right shoulder is back. And then when you pull through, what happens is you finish over here, which means that you're twisting, right? So you got the twist, and then you also have a hinge. So again, so on his guy, number 3, this is his hinge. He starts here, boom, and then he sits up and up and up and up and up like that, okay? So what we want to try to do is see what your hinge is here. So right there. Oops. Hinge, boom, boom, okay? There, and then you sit up. Okay, sitting up over here. So see how the difference is? So you've got a little bit more hinge that you can do. So you take a look at C3's hinge. So he's leaning forward and he sits back up all the way to the top. So you can definitely get a little bit more. You can get a better reach if you're leaning forward a little bit more. And then coming back up to the top. See the two different angles here, right? So good stuff, man. One thing I do want to point out is your top hand. So taking a look at your movement here, right? So you got a nice little triangle here. Want to make it a little bit more fluid, so more like a capital D, backwards capital D. And then taking a look at his, right? So he's got that loop-de-loop at the top. And the reason why you don't have that loop-de-loop is because your top hand is actually coming across your body towards the end of the stroke, which is good. That's a good thing. So for C3, his top hand is coming straight back up to the top. He's having to lift his shoulder up all the way up there in order to get himself set back up. But because you're coming across your body, it's a good thing, and it'll help you eliminate fatigue over the long run or even over a sprint. So that's good. And then going through, bottom arm is straight, which is good. Top arm is slightly bent, which is good. And coming through. Yeah, so only thing is flexibility. You can definitely get a little bit more hinge, get on your legs. So in the last video, I kind of compared the legs here. So let's do another leg drive. Look at these guys here. So let's see, seat 3 here. Okay, take a look at seat 3. So in the yellow here, take a look at his leg. All right. So we're gonna go through. He's gonna drive off his leg and then push forward. See how his leg is moving. I can't really see it, but he's definitely using his leg. So let's kind of slow this down and show, just kind of watch his leg here. So he's got a little bit of leg movement. So he drives down, pushing off of that leg. So again, seeing if we can get a little bit more leg drive. So you see C3, driving off of that leg a little bit. So you want to get down, lean forward, and then drive off of that front leg. So on your right side, your front leg is your right, and left side, your front leg is your left. So making sure that you get down on it and drive off of that front leg. But overall, good stuff, man. You guys are looking solid. Can't wait to see you guys in action. So, right on.